Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about stock selection as I promised you in my last video. So once you have listed down your investment plan, you now know whether you want to invest in individual stocks or mutual funds or any other safe investment. So let's see how you're going to select stocks. There are a huge number of stocks in the market, thousands and thousands of stocks that you can pick up from. So it may become a little difficult for you to decide which stock to pick. You could pick up stocks from news reviews in which there are analysts suggesting certain stocks to buy. When you switch on certain news TV channels, there are also analyst discussions regarding individual stocks from which you could pick up some names. In case you don't have any of those starting points, one of a simple starting point could be to pick up a stock from an index. The index contains a list of stocks which are usually the popular stocks. So you could either pick up Nifty or Sensex, list down the list of stocks which are contained in them, and depending upon which industry you would like to invest in, you could pick up a stock from there. Now, how do you go about deciding which is a good stock to invest and which is a bad stock? Well, if you get into the stock research, it could take a couple of days to invest one stock because you have to look at the background of the company, you have to look at its future prospects, how do its new products or future prospects link with the changes in the economy. So there is a lot of study that needs to be done in stock selection. What I'm going to do is take you through the few basic parameters that you must touch upon before you pick up a certain stock. So this will just take 5-6 minutes to review one stock, and it will give you a little comfort that the kind of stocks that you're selecting are good enough for your investment profile. Let's start selecting the stocks. One of the websites that I like to use for share analysis is moneycontrol.com. This is not the only website you can use. You can use any other website also. However, I'm using it because this is the one that I'm most acquainted with, and I find it very easy to use. So if you have been recommended a share by somebody, then what you need to do is just type the share name over here, say, and then you'll get it here in the drop down menu. All you need to make sure is that you have selected quotes here, and then you have to press search to get the details of the particular share that you want to look at. Now, oftentimes you may not know where to start, and the easiest way I would like to recommend is the Sensex or the index. So you can select any index. The easiest would be to select the BSE Sensex. You can see it floating here on this bar. So all you need to do is just click on it, and when you click on it, it will take you to the details of that Sensex. So here we have reached the Sensex. It is telling you what the Sensex opened at, what was its previous close, what are its highs and lows, what was its 52-week high and what was its 52 weeks low. When you go down, you will be able to see this graph in which you can select whether you want to see the history of the Sensex performance over 1 year, 2 years, or however, and it will show you how the Sensex has performed. You will go down further to see what are the stocks that comprise the Sensex. You click on this button, View All, to see the list of all the stocks available and also the industry to which they belong. From here, you can then choose which industry you want to go in. Suppose I am bullish about autos and cars. When I say bullish, I mean I am very positive and I feel that this particular sector is going to do well. So in autos and cars, let me select a stock which is M&M, which is Mahindra and Mahindra. Here I have the details of Mahindra and Mahindra. It is telling you what is the current price of Mahindra and Mahindra, what was the previous close and opening price, what is the bid and offer price. And if you go down further, it also tells you how this particular stock has moved over a period of 1 year. Again, you can select to see how it has moved in 3 years, in 2 years. So generally, when I take a 2-year period, I see that this stock is on its all-time high, approximately near its all-time high. Its 52-week high and low can be seen from here. While it's towards its 52-week high, still you can see that it is recommended as a buy by most analysts. Now, when you go down further, you can see a consolidated review about this stock. It tells you about the company, its market capitalization, its PE, which is price to earnings ratio. Now, generally we compare the PE to the industry PE. You can see that the PE of this company is better than the PE of the industry. Lower the PE, the better it is. So from that perspective, you can say that it is a good stock to look at. It is also a dividend paying stock. It is paying 240% dividend. So you may want to ask yourself whether you are looking for current income or only growth. Then you can see that on the left side, there are a series of information about this company. You can click on news to see what is the latest news about this company, what is the economic outlook, is there any new product launch. What you need to focus is on if there is any negative news in the recent past which could indicate that the company or its product may fail due to some change in the government outlook or latest economic activity. After you have gone through the recent news, you can go through the financials of the company. In financials, I would recommend that you at least look at the balance sheet, the P&L and the cash flows. In balance sheet, I usually like to look at the debts. The debt should not be rising and it should not be very big compared to the net worth of the company. So here you can see that while there is a huge amount of debt on this company, but it has been paying it off. So in the last year, it has paid off some part of its debt. You can also look at how much cash it is holding in the assets. Here you can see that it has reduced some of its cash holding in the last 1 year. So once you're happy with these couple of things, you move on to the profit and loss statement. Now in the profit and loss statement, you want to make sure that the sales turnover should be steadily rising. The operating profits should also be steadily rising, and the reported net profit here should also be rising over the last 4 to 5 years period, whatever you're comparing. Though now I can see that, while the sales have been good, while the operating profit has been positive, in the last couple of years it has gone down slightly. The sales have gone down. So you may want to research a little more into this to find out whether it is due to competition or it is due to lackadaisical attitude of the company. Once you are happy with looking at this, you may move forward. The last statement is the cash flow statement, which many people ignore, but it is very important to look at. In the cash flow statement, I usually like to focus on the cash flow from operating activities. I do not invest in companies which have negative operating cash flow. Now, to give you a little overview about what these cash flows are, you can see that they're divided in 3 categories: operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. Why I'm saying that you must focus on net cash flow from operating activities, because this is the cash that the company generates from its ongoing operations, from its core operations. Investing activities is whether the company is investing in its capital projects. And lastly, we have financing activities here. When the company raises money either through issue of shares or borrowing funds, that is the money that comes from financing. Here we can see that a lot of cash has been used in financing activities. So that means the company may be paying off its debt, which is in line with what we saw on the balance sheet, that the debt of the company has gone down in the past 1 year. Once you are happy with the financials, you can decide whether you would like to invest in this company. One last thing that you can look at is the peer review. You click on the peers button to look at the peers of Mahindra and Mahindra. It will give you a quick comparison on the last price of the peer companies, their market capitalization, sales turnover, net profit, and total assets. Now, these cannot be compared, as they are given, because they are not this companies of the same size. So there is something which is called common size analysis, which I'll discuss with you in some other video because you need to go in detail in that. So you have to do common size analysis to make these companies first comparable, and then you can compare whether it is good or not good to be bought. Generally, if you want to see, then you can see that Maruti Suzuki has much more market cap as compared to M&M. However, its price is 3 times that of M&M. Market cap is not 3 times though. Sales turnover is also not 3 times, and net profit, of course, is also not 3 times that of M&M. So just looking at it straight, I would say that if I had some money to invest, I would invest it in M&M rather than Maruti Suzuki, just by looking at this. But before making that decision, of course, I'll have to go into Maruti Suzuki and look at all those parameters which I studied here for Mahindra and Mahindra. Now again, if you have, say, suppose only 50,000 rupees to invest, I would not say that you put all 50,000 in one share. You split it into 10,000 and put it in 5 different shares because you must diversify. So let's quickly look at another company and see whether you have understood what I was trying to explain. Now this is ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. I picked it up from the Sensex only. You click here and then you select another industry. And in this case, I have selected oil drilling and exploration and clicked on ONGC. When you go to ONGC, you will see that ONGC is near its 52-week low. So from that perspective, I would say that it can be considered a good pick at this time. The similar feel is there on the graph also. So you want to pick companies when they are at low. However, the analyst or the market sentiment says that 50% are in favor of holding the company and only 50% say that you should be buying it at this point. When you look at the PE is at 13.17, which is very close to the industry PE of 13.49 and not very attractive from this perspective. Again, this is a dividend paying company. Let's move on to the financials. I would understand that you have already looked at the news which I showed you in the last company. Looking at the financials, you can see that there is no debt, probably because it is a PSU. It does not have a lot of pressure, so it was able to pay off its debt which it had raised in 2012. So you can see that the 2015 results have not been published yet. If you want to look at those, you may want to go to the quarterly results. However, because this is a long established company, I may be comfortable taking a decision from 2014 reports itself. Moving on to say cash balances, I would say that it is keeping huge cash balances, but the cash balance has gone down steadily. I am not very attracted towards companies which keep a lot of cash balance on their balance sheet because it gives me an indication that they do not have sufficient opportunities to invest that money, which also indicates that they may not have a lot of growth opportunities. So unless growth opportunities are not there, you cannot see the stock doing very well in the future. Let's go down to profit and loss statement now. You can see that the sales turnover has increased steadily, which is a very positive thing. The profit have also increased steadily, which is again a very positive indicator, though there has been some change, ups and downs. In 2011, 2012, the profit went down in 2013, but again, it became positive in 2014. Let's move on to cash flow. Yeah, again, see, operating activities, you can see that the operating cash flow is positive and it has increased from last year, from 2013. The net cash used in investing activities has also increased. That means the company is investing in capital projects and it is also trying to pay off some of its borrowings. Let's now finally look at its peers. And because here there are so many pairs over here, I could not quickly tell you what I told in the case of M&M. So here you would need to do a common size analysis to do a justified comparison. Well, I have given you a brief analysis of two companies and told you how the analysis can be done. So I would expect that in future, before investing in any company, you will at least go through these basics and satisfy yourself that you are doing the correct investment. Well, I hope you liked this video and you liked the simple way of selecting the stocks. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, in which I will tell you what are the basic parameters that you have to look at before investing in a mutual fund. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.